Welcome back, I'm DRN and this is Mechabellum. We're going to our final game of this week's tournament, where we're fighting for second place. Here we go. Ooh, Sakura. He's a 1700 level player, though I haven't played him for quite a while, so my information might be out of date. He was a standard player who also played Assault Marksman from time to time. Though just because someone did something in the past doesn't mean they'll do it again in the future. But by nature we are creatures of habit, and we all have our strengths and weaknesses. Not a great Rhino start there, it's too slow on tempo. Not a fan of marksmen with phoenixes, it's kind of a bit redundant. So it's between quick supply and fortified. Let's go fortified. It's two of the best early game units, arclights and phoenixes. So all we'll need is chaff to round out the comp, and it forces our opponent to go anti-air early, which puts them on the back foot from round one. Editing DRN here, phoenix starts are being removed from the game because they're a little bit too high in tempo and force too narrow of a response range apparently. He's got 3 snipers, there's no point putting a midline arclight down. He is Giant Specialist, okay. So we'll play strong side, weak side, which suits a Phoenix starter. It's always better to start your Phoenixes close together, so they can protect one another from the evil snipers. I'm worried about a missile coming in from this direction. If I put my chaff behind the tower as well, let's not give our opponent too easy of a job taking this weak side tower. Now, which early chaff is best? Fang's a better late game, but Crawl's a better early game. Let's go Crawler so we can pressure his snipers early game. We can always buy the Fangs later on. I'm okay with this, let's see what he's thinking. Sorry, I play quite fast because I like watching what my opponent does. It gives me more time to think and plan my next turn. Quick little scan of his technologies, anti-air but no assault marksman, full standard carry tank, EMP rather than AP bullets. Makes sense. Any surprises on the Fangs? Ooh, he's got AP bullets on the Fangs rather than Ignite. That's old school for true carry Fang. Have to keep our eye out for that and prioritise early Mustangs then. Lost the weak side, come on, get the snipers. No. They both shoot the same target. Maybe I should have put them down vertically rather than horizontally. I thought they'd be shooting tanks, never mind. Not a great start for us, he beat our strong side far too easily. Let's have a look, what offerings does Bear like tempt us with today? Ooh, haste module's jumping out at me. He's Giant Specialist, he might put that on the Vulcan. I think we have to take it. And let's grab ourselves some early Mustangs. Can only afford 1 set this turn, but that's okay. We'll get some more Crawlers as well. Let's put the Mustangs over here. I clicked on the haste module, I promise. Sometimes the UI is a tiny bit laggy. No big deal, the game's still in early access. It's just trying to make me look clumsy on camera. Yes, it's all a conspiracy, just trying to make you look bad. Shall we do an action replay and see if you did actually click on the icon? Wait for it, wait for it! No you didn't! Blaming the game because you can't even click straight. What are you, a first-person shooter player? Okay, happy with this, we've bolstered our strong side. Could spend a missile on the weak side to make it look stronger, but there's no need. If I'm using missiles, I'd rather use them at the end of the game, when it actually matters. Right, he's leveled up a sniper and taken 3 sets of crawlers, okay. Didn't take the damage item, so if he skipped, he's floated 50 gold. Acidic Blast on the crawlers, now we are getting crazy. It's very rare that you want to use that. 6 months ago when War Factory was new, it was used as a counter, but now we've got Scorpions that are actually viable. Acidic Blast is almost never used. Our weak side is really struggling. We can either give them some more units, or just level the tower up. This strong side is crushing though. Because we've got the faster Phoenixes and Mustangs, we should be okay taking his tower before he takes ours. Maybe? Okay, no. Tell a lie. It's fine, he's not going to get to capitalise on it, because all his units are lumbering, slow, lethargic, plodders, while ours are agile, swift, and deadly. You could turn that completely on its head and call his solid and steadfast, and ours lightweight and flimsy, and it'd still be just as true. It's all about perspective, but because they're ours, they're special. Ooh, speaking of special, the Bear likes special, free units, that we now have to pay for, but I'll still call free units until the end of time, just don't comment on it. This Rhino is tempting me, it's batting its eyelashes, but ooh, Typhoon and Wraith could be good as well. No, it's gotta be the Rhino. High impact play and then we can always sell it in future turns if we need to. He's got nothing that's really a threat to it. And if we can push him into melting point, then we can just mob him with millions of units. We've already got the Phoenixes as our big hitters. We need to strengthen our weak side here, which I think has to be more Mustangs, and I'd really like to get range on these Mustangs. Would keep them much safer from the tanks. Yeah, let's do it. Let's go range and then just get some more crawlers. If he's gone Wraith with armor, we'll be in a little bit of trouble. But we do have the Phoenixes. These Mustangs can be a bit closer. They don't have the haste module, they don't need to be quite as far back. Though having them right at the back might keep them safer from fire, but it'll cost you some DPS output. We're using them quite early, so I want the higher DPS. Earlier in the round for more impact. Happy with this, let's see what he's thinking. Range on his arclights, good thing we've got the range on our Mustangs, and he sold a unit, probably the Rhino. And he's bought more Fangs. Perfect, Mustangs will be fantastic for us now. Just need to keep them away from the arclights, which might be easier said than done, but we'll do our best. I wonder if it was the Rhino that he sold, or if he's hiding a unit from us. He's a Giant Specialist who hasn't bought an early game Giant, which I'm sure feels bad for him. We've all been there and done that. Cough cough, game 1 of this tournament. Let's not think about it. Don't you worry, I'm always thinking about it. We could have been in the winners final. But no, you didn't want to buy techs for your giants. You wanted to go Fang carry. I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed. Range on his marksman, that won't help him kill a big angry Rhino. Right, here we go. Mustang's doing the work. The Rhino doing both the tanking and the spanking. Go on, Mr. Rhino. Teach them to fear the orange menace. Remind them who's boss. You see this door? It's got the name Mr. Rhino on it. You come here swinging, you better not miss. Because when Mr. Rhino gets the guns out, ain't nothing but a pain train coming through here. Ooh, even our weak side is inspired by the presence of Mr. Rhino leading the charge. Big round for us here. He's suddenly got problems. The game went from 0 to 100 for him real fast. You've got to have an answer to a Rhino ready. I'll be ready for him to rock your world instead. Oh yes, we are the beloved of the moon. Bearlac once again smiles down upon us. They're both good items, but let's get some variety. So good in our Mustangs here. And the level ups as well. Oh, double the stats, half the price. You just can't say fairer than that. Sakura's going to be fighting an uphill battle here. 2 more sets of Mustangs. So while he's scrambling to find an answer to Mr. Rhino, the Mustang mob will sweep in from the side. Always give your opponent a new problem to answer. I cannot emphasize that enough. Remember, whatever problem you just presented your opponent, they will provide an answer to it. He's going to put a melting point or a fortress here and here. Maybe even a war factory, but round 4's pretty early for that. I think it's going to be a fortress right here. He's lacking front line and needs an answer to a Rhino that can survive some direct fire from Mustangs. If he does, then we sell Mr. Rhino, I'm sorry. Thank you for your service, off to the great scrap heap in the sky for you, and we turn him into yet more Mustangs. Yep, called it, and we already know what our response is going to be. He needs to go armor on his tanks immediately or he loses. And if he does that, we go an EMP source, probably melting point, but Stormcallers would work as well. Sometimes the game feels like a flowchart. You can read what the most likely next step will be. But remember, your opponent's trying to read you as well. There are different tendencies at different levels. Beginners never buy enough chaff. Intermediates never sell or use mobile beacons. Experienced players like me often rely too much on technology and not the masterful unit positioning that the best players in the world have. But I'm working on it. And yeah, those are all massive generalizations, then there are exceptions to every rule. We've all got strengths and weaknesses. Even the best player in the world loses games. We need a bit more chaff and a bit more damage. Maybe wasps? No, then he just goes Mustangs and we're in a mirror match. I need to actually distract his arc lights and his fortress. Whoa, this was a close round, but that's a lot of experience for our Mustangs. Ooh, 3 units, nice. Stormcallers are great here. Melting Point is the classic answer to Fortress, which is what he's going to expect, but he wants Stormcallers himself, so let's do Stormcallers of our own. We could have gone Sabertooth anti-missile tech, but they're not great into Fortress, and they're really not great versus a Giant Specialist, because they lose to Melting Points, Fortresses, Overlords, Sandworms, and War Factories. And I realise I've just listed off every single Giant apart from Vulcans, but there you go. That's why Sabertooth is not a great pick into a Giant Specialist. Why use few words when many will work? Sorry, I need to get a bit more succinct. Range on the Phoenixes, keep them a little bit safe from those ranged marksmen. They'll sit behind the Mustang line, and let's set up a nice curve, a big concave. 200 left over, let's get just both town upgrades. And I've forgotten to sell Mr. Rhino, despite talking about it all last round. You muppet, by your own definition, you're an intermediate player. I got receipts. He's got armor on his tanks like we said he should, so he knows what he's doing. Good stuff. Hopefully our extra Phoenixes will chew through them before our Mustangs get stuck for too long. We need a bit more chaff. I talked about it last round, and yet again I haven't done it. I am such a hypocrite. It's always easier to say a thing than do a thing. Judge people by their actions, not their words. Ooh, he doesn't run anti-air barrage. Phoenix carry unlocked. Not a fan of elite marksman fortresses, because it already one-shots almost everything, and it's tough enough that extra 5 range doesn't make that much difference when it walks forward. If it gets to level 3 or 4, barrier on its own is enough of an advantage. Right, we've got the Phoenix to help out with the super tanky tanks, and Mr. Rhino in his last gasp takes out all these tanks, and he even gets a big swing on the fortress before going down. What a legend. He's earned his retirement in style. He has just fed a fortress a huge chunk of XP though, which is a bit spooky. Level 3 units are worth 5 times their base XP, so a 200 cost Rhino is worth twice its cost times 5, becomes 400, becomes 2000 XP, which is a straight level for a fortress. And yet another reason why I should have sold him, before he got too hard countered. Oh well, I'm just providing an example of what not to do. Laughing to hide the pain, eh? We'll call you the Great Clown Pagliacci. Oh, that's a dark reference, I shouldn't do that. Sorry. Editing DRN, save me. Wait. What? Let's grab the Wasps, help protect our Phoenixes. He probably takes barrier on Mustang production because he wants them off for his Giants. Is there a way to drop these Wasps aggressively? If I put them over here, they're just going to chase these crawlers. But we do have a solution for that. Let's unlock some elite crawlers. Oh, where are they? Here. And we put them up here as well. Tee-hee-hee-hee-hee. He'll never expect this. He'll think we're dropping them in the centre. Gonna replicate the classic. Don't have enough chaff, turn some of his into some of ours. So many level ups. Limited power! No, I shouldn't do that. I'm gonna wake people up. Some more crawlers back here. Should arrive nicely. Okay, we're fully covered for the wasps, so I don't think he'll try this play himself. But barrier or Mustang production on the other fort might be a bit scary. You've forgotten something. Oh, the Rhino. It's the John Cena Rhino, I just don't see him. If I want to sell him, I've got to push. Is it worth it to save that fortress and get a ton of XP? Does it give us enough for a good technology? The Rhino's worth 400, 200 from the push minus the 100 from locking the cell, gives us 500 to spend. Never do maths on camera. 500 is indeed less than 600. Could we get something for the Mustangs maybe? Nah, Mr. Rhino has earned his keep. I'll see it through and pretend it was intentional, because I'm stubborn. Which some people might call stupid. But we are here and this is now. Alright, come on, will the big flank play work? Come on, warp in faster. We need drop pods. They can come in fast and hot. Away we go. From humble beginnings, the swarm will grow. Let's watch the final hours of Mr. Rhino, also known as John Cena. Boink. Gets one final swing in, screaming his defiance. It's about sending a message. It might be futile, it might be vain, but it's glorious. He's gone Firestorm Caller to try and stem the bleeding. Normally it'd be a great answer to crawlers and mustangs, but we have a third threat lurking in the skies above, the phoenixes, and we have stormcallers of our own to throw rocks from afar. And I'm afraid that's all she wrote. GG, perfect game. Oof, I don't think he was expecting the big flank. That was us. Wow, that was a quick game. 6th round. All because he didn't have anti-air as an option on his fortresses. It meant I had the confidence to go carry Phoenix. And at the same time as I went carry Phoenix, I showed the Stormcallers, which I think he over-indexed on. And was busy with Mobile Beacon crawler play here to distract that, and bought some Wasp, dropped there thinking I might go for the Wasp play, which I did, but I backed it up with a beachhead set of crawlers to get the tower snipe. Mustangs are one of my favourite lazy carries, as in they're a generalist DPS who can deal with almost everything apart from armour. But as long as you've got something else that can punch up and destroy armour, you're normally okay, or if you've got something else which can EMP the armour, you're normally okay. I could have sold the arc lights here, they weren't doing an awful lot for us, but they're actually surprisingly tanky. They've got 12,000 HP, which isn't bad versus a lot of small stuff on the table. I guess the marksmen are still a big threat to them. I liked how he took range and anti-air on his marksman as an answer to my phoenixes, but unfortunately he didn't have quite enough chaff clear, even though he had the fire stormcallers. As you saw, that gave us a lot of bother to begin with, but we still managed to get through onto his units with crawlers. I think the winning play here again was the corner crawler plus wasp just coming in and taking the tower for us. There's 2 games in a row now where I've just managed to sneak it in. And I think my opponent was a little bit lazy by not having missiles covering it when the Wasp card was shown. I think instead of going fire on his Stormcallers, he could have gone Splash for cheaper but similar effect. Had missiles in the corner covering it, and he would have survived this round. I'm not sure he would have won the game though, but I think he would have survived this round. My late game plan was to go Elite on the Phoenixes, because then they just start scaling to infinity, and they can start punching through the fortress pretty hard. If you put a damage item on a fortress, I expect you to take range or launcher overload to make it multiplicative. But, well, it was a fun game. Let's see if we've got 2nd place. Though that was a fast game, so it might not be over yet. Whew, another 20 MMR, back up again. Yay. Live ranking. Yeah, I'm not first, don't worry. Unless they both lose in the same game against each other somehow. But yeah, we're probably going to get 2nd here, I'm expecting. And oh yes, there we go, 2nd place. A shiny new badge. Well played, Void Insanity. Beats me in round 1 and then goes on to win the whole tourney, guaranteeing me 2nd place, as long as I don't fumble any more games myself. Well, thank you for watching as always. I hope you had some fun. I really enjoyed this tournament, and I'm looking forward to the big patch tomorrow. We're going to have a new unit, the Tarantula, a 200 cost chaff clear unit, which will replace Phoenix in the starting cards, but you'll still be able to unlock and use Phoenixes as normal otherwise. I'm looking forward to giving them a whirl. I'm going to try and do a patch breakdown video, which might be a bit different. Let me know if you like it or you don't like it. I'll see you then, and thank you for staying to the end.